How is that? Hi there. Hello. Good day, GM. It is just me right now. So, welcome. And let us see what is going on in the world. I haven't looked at the news yet. So, let me do that. Oh my God, my throat. Trump's Super Tuesday victory. Oh yeah, what happened on so Haley's out and it's Biden and Trump. Let me look into this. North Carolina got a new Republican governor. Israel and Hamas are still fighting. Let's check out this Super Tuesday stuff. I forgot about that. What to know about Super Tuesday? It doesn't really tell me anything. Well, I'll keep doing looking and doing my research and see what I come up with. Live updates. Biden and Trump dominate as Haley exits the race. Okay. So that's what it looks like to me. That it's a Biden and Trump matchup so far. Hey, Daniel Barry. Sports highlights. Speaking of sports highlights, tonight is Survivor. It's the second episode of the new season, and we're gonna watch it live at 10 o'clock Central Time because I'm on West Coast. So that's happening tonight too. And then I think I have some tweets. What do they call them now if it's X? Do they still call them tweets? Nothing really there either. Wow. Well, I don't know how long I'll stream then if it's not going to know it's going to be on. I don't have a lot to say. There's potential chaos and disruption. Oh, here is Busker. We have Busker. Hey.
Hey, how's it going, my friend?
How are you? Welcome.
Pretty good, man. Just chilling. I had a bad luck with this huge fucking pizza. I got it, and the box was so big I could barely get it through the door of my house. No shit.
What was it?
It was pizza, and I ended up dropping half of it on the floor.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a big mess, but the good half I ate, so I feel good about that anyway.
That was today or yesterday?
Yeah, it was just a few hours ago.
Oh.
That was a big mess. Yeah, yeah I hate wall-to-wall carpet, but I think if I have a wood floor, I'd probably slip on it a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Hey, Chris, welcome.
How's it going, Chris? Can you hear us?
Sorry, I had to unmute. Yeah, I did unmute. Yeah, I'm good. It's good. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I
What's
saw
up?
you were at an Asian kind of superstore one day
Mm-hmm.
Hong
recently.
Kong Superstore.
Yeah, or like
Yeah, he gave us a tour of the. It wasn't even just one. It was like he was at a mall,
Yeah,
and they
okay,
had like
so yeah,
5
okay.
or 6 giant Japanese warehouse store, like gigantic warehouse stores, and they
Yeah,
were
like an
all
outlet
Asian.
of some of sorts. I have a Asian oriented restaurant or not like not outlet, just convenience store with all kinds of different Asian stuff. And my God, man, when you walk in there, it smells like rotting fish or something.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I try to steer clear of that place.
Somebody has background noise. Chris, are you out and about today?
Yes, I'm out and about again.
Oh, it's making a noise.
I'm sorry. You can mute me.
All right.
Yeah, and as per usual, I got noise because this laptop is old and really making like it's starting to sound like a fucking vibrator.
What is?
My laptop,
Oh Lord.
it's got a broken CD-ROM drive in it, and it's got a broken fan. I don't know. It's just a refurbished old piece of shit. I needed it because my good laptop, I spilled some vodka on it, and that's all it took through the keys. All it took was a little vodka, and it wouldn't work anymore. And
Wow.
that thing was like $2,000, man. Holy shit!
Oh dang.
I'm never gonna drink around my electronics ever again. That was a bad idea.
Are you getting Are you getting an? Is it easier to get a new one, or are you having it repaired?
Well, that thing's dead. That thing, I am. All I could really do is just ask my dad if he could loan me something for something cheap over at the repair shop,
Hmm.
and they hooked me up with this really old fucking laptop with that CD-ROM drive that just doesn't work and makes a lot of noise, and the fan, and it sounds like a vibrator. At least that's what a friend that I know is a girl told me. It sounds like a vibrator at times, and sometimes it sounds like it's buzzing. And I've gotten on
Is it
one
doing it
specific.
now? Because I don't really hear it on my end, but is it doing it now?
Yeah, I mean, like according to what people have told me, like usually just the fact that I'm on here without being muted, they can hear it. It's like it's not like anything really of substance, but the guy who got pissed off about it on his stream, he just kicked me off. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
Who did?
I've been on your panel, this Hoax Wars guy, right?
Oh, I don't think I
So
know
he
him.
kicked me off his fucking panel because of the noise. I'm just like, okay, I'm done with you, buddy. Done with you. But, and I've had other people say they've heard it, but it doesn't bother them. And I guess this guy was just autistic or something. I don't know. Very, very particular about what his stream sounds like.
Maybe so. And I don't have the best ears, but so far I don't really hear anything that I can notice as noise.
I can hear it kind of like it's making this kind of churning noise inside of it, and and I think at times it can get louder, like depending on how this thing is facing or angled, it can be worse or better. How that works out. So what's up with you guys?
It seems like Chris is out doing stuff again today. I'm just chilling here. Tonight's Survivor night, so it's that's the big thing going on Wednesdays.
That show's still on television, huh?
It's still on season 40.
Holy crap.
46, I believe, is what they're on.
Wow, man. My sister was always into that ever since, like, she was in her 20s, I guess, and now she's about 50 something.
Dang.
Or maybe 20s, 30s, she started getting into it. I think, something like that. Yeah, but that totally rolled the prime time on standard television.
Yeah, when it first came out, it did. I remember.
Yeah. But like, do you think? I mean, like, do they have them do really crazy things? And like, I mean, like that was my understanding of it. Like, they are just like try to survive in certain circumstances that are just it's just seemingly unbearable.
Well, now it's more about the game, the social game, than it is about surviving. They hardly even show them surviving anymore.
Oh yeah, so now they have the whole identity politics and pronouns and what name you.
Well, the recent season, there was one like the year after COVID, because they couldn't film during COVID, so they had like
Yeah.
a year gap, and so the year after that, those 2 seasons, they had some woke stuff come up because that's what was built up in the air, I guess, in the atmosphere. But then
Well,
after that, it kind of just got back to normal, and they don't really talk about that stuff anymore.
so now they're like trying just to survive for real. I mean, like, what are they doing?
To me, it's more like they're on an island, like vacationing on an island,
Yeah,
like
that's about it.
camping, I guess, on an island. Than
Oh,
they
like
are
that's so pussy,
surviving.
man. Yeah, I want to see them like swinging from vines or some shit.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Nah, I know they didn't do that before, but it seemed like it was more of a survivalist show to
Yeah, it
begin
used to
with.
be like the focus used to be on what are because they took like ordinary strangers from all walks of life and can they
Yeah, I remember.
survive together
Yeah,
on an island, and it
so
gradually shifted because that got tired. Like that kind of got to be the same thing after a while, and people got tired of seeing it over and over. So they shifted more to the gameplay and the social dynamics more than
yeah,
the survival part.
the
And
drama
eventually they
and
kind of just started phasing the survival part out altogether.
that's so fucking stupid. They might as well change the name to socializing on an island.
They still have to survive each other. That's
Surviving each other. That's how they should change the name. Surviving each other.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Surviving the panelverse.
Well, we do. We're trying. Chris is working on a game, like panel survivor version,
Right? There you go.
where people from the panelverse play some kind of game and vote each other off in the process.
Yeah, I got myself voted off. Oh, because of that buzzing noise by this.
Like in real life, real.
Yeah, on one of the panels, the flow state. So
Oh,
everybody
Flo did. He's.
he kicked me off because everybody on the channel said I should be kicked off because of the.
Did they pay him?
Well, yeah, apparently he's got. Well, I don't know if he got paid, but he's got options, doesn't he? I mean, he's got. I saw the options, the levels, and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And he's not that entertaining at all, so I don't watch him anymore. I don't want to get on his panel after I got kicked off of that one. I think a lot of it he asked me, what's that noise? That he's one of the other persons that had a problem with it, but he didn't kick me off specifically for that, but I was voted off. So that's kind
by
of
the audience, by the people in chat.
yeah, and I don't know if it's because of the noise or just because they don't I didn't have much to say or I wasn't like as interesting or whatever. I don't know. But
Yeah,
fuck
you
them.
never know what it means when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. And compared to what I used to be like on the internet, I'm a saint right now.
Y'all keep saying that. Moose says that too. I can't imagine either one of you.
I went through a lot of drinking from the age of my teens up until my mid 30s, and then I had to kind of cut it back because, especially with the MS.
Oh, you used to get on the internet drunk?
Oh yeah, and
Well, yeah, we used to do that too in the chat rooms.
yeah, and And then I say things like, "Oh my God!" I look at it the next day. Oh no! Why did I say that? I can't even understand what I was talking about. You know, it's like
I do know.
alcohol is a demon. I mean, if ever there was a demon, it's booze, or hard drugs.
What helped you?
Help me what?
Get over it, or did you?
Well, I'm not completely over it. I mean, I drink once bi-weekly, and that's once is not a whole lot because I'll suffer for days. So about a
Is
half
that every 2 weeks?
about that's roughly.
Okay.
Or if I'm having a good day and everything's cool and I've got all my appointments over with and I'm taking a break from that, then I'll make an occasion of it. Or if I'm celebrating something, I'll make an occasion of it like a normal person. So, like, I used to drink like a motherfucker, but I didn't have any problems getting off of it whatsoever. It was like, I don't understand how it was so easy. It was mainly psychological until that starts going away when the MS says, "Okay, well, I have the whip, and you're not going to do it no more." So AA is really not
I
something
feel you on
to do.
that. They thought I had MS at one point. That was scary.
Oh,
Uh,
no shit, man. What
yeah.
kind of symptoms did you have?
It was a long time ago. I had like this weird mysterious stroke thing happen. I still don't know what happened. I just had like this it looked like a mini stroke, and I fell over and half my body was numb, and then it just kind of went away. They thought it was MS for a while, but then they never could find the evidence of it. So it was like, 1 second,
Well,
I gotta go mute.
usually they can't start thinking about MS until like there's other kinds of problems. Like for me, like most people, they don't get diagnosed unless they've got optic neuritis, which means everything looks like you're looking through cooking oil. But that's maybe now. I don't know when they tried to tell you might have had MS, but a stroke is not really indicative of MS right off the bat. Stroke's more indicative to other kinds of brain problems. But
Welcome, Lib.
What's up? How are y'all doing today?
how's it going?
Oh,
Going
just
good.
chilling.
Oh, cool.
I've just gotten the best news in the world. We're eating Mexican tonight.
Oh, like Tex-Mex.
I think so. Yeah, there's a place right up the road.
That is good news. I hate you for it, but congratulations.
I'm so happy we get.
I'm happy. It definitely enjoy.
It's hard to find one of those good kind of like Tex-Mex places around Baltimore.
Really? I don't know.
It's hard to find them around here. Where are y'all going? Is it one of the chains?
No. It's this place over in like the Redmond downtown area that my girlfriend went to, and she was like, "Oh, this place is delicious. We need to try it." It's cheaper than like her favorite Tex-Mex place is this place called Azteca. And she was like, "Yeah, it's like, yeah." And she was like, "Oh yeah, it's like this reasonably affordable, like, decent Tex-Mex place." And oh my God, it is not. It is way too expensive to be a Mexican joint. They're like $20 for 2 burritos.
Holy
that's normal like prices these days.
Were they good burritos at least?
I mean, they're decent. It's like it's a normal like American Mexican joint. Like, it's not bad. It's good.
We had this little Tex-Mex, or actually more like authentic Mexican place in Texarkana called Colima's that was run by these two like straight off the boat kind of Mexican people, and like they made those giant like baby sized burritos, but like, and they were like $6.50, but dear God, they were good. They had one that was like all the surf and turf that literally was just stuffed with steak and shrimp. It was just amazing. It was amazing. It was like so good.
Do you guys have Chipotle's out your way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
see,
I never
that's
ate
about as
there
close
before.
as we got to it. I mean, like when I said we don't have Tex-Mex places, Chipotle is the only place.
Oh, that's as close as it gets.
Yeah, and Taco Bell. That's all you got.
Taco Bell is fast food. It's
Yeah,
barely
that's all
Tex-Mex.
it is. It
has-
totally. That's
like,
as close as you can get.
Taco Bell is McDonald's with tortillas instead of buns. That's all it is.
Yeah, I think Denizen has a good point.
Oh man, it's
I'm
really
waiting on a guy. He went to go get something out of the back for me.
Oh, cool.
the beef, how they dehydrate the beef for the tacos at Taco Bell. It's kind of disgusting.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, Frank. I love
I
wearing
don't,
frilly
I
little
don't, I don't want to
numbers.
know about it because I've eaten enough Taco
gross.
Bell before. I don't want to get
Yeah.
gross.
I mean,
Though-
I can handle. I guess it's edible. But
Chipotle isn't even my favorite like Tex-Mex fast food joint. It's Moe's.
New one.
Moe's Southwest Grill
Okay,
is
okay, so
the
what do we need to do?
best fucking
Just take
Tex-Mex
this up to our-
I've had in my entire life.
Customer
It's so
service, and we'll
good.
do a swap out for you.
Okay.
Basically, okay.
All right,
Hang
thank
on,
you.
let me
sir.
hang on. There you go. Go ahead.
There we go. Yeah, Moe's has the best queso like I've ever tasted in my life. It's like the perfect taste, the perfect consistency, everything. And they don't have them up here.
yeah, I've never even heard of Moe's, but like Chipotle is like a dime a dozen.
It's a region
I
thing.
heard about some recent, kind of recent food poisonings at the one local
Oh Lord.
Chipotle.
In
So once I
Baltimore?
heard that, and I realized how kind of disgusting the quality was, I thought, well, I can kind of see why that might happen.
That's a lot. That's a lot of places though. Like you have to be careful with fast food joints when you're especially when you're out east. Some of those fast food joints are way worse than others.
One of the reasons, well, it's not a reason, but it was a good excuse to drink booze after I'd eat something like that because you kill the germs.
You just wash all that salt out of your mouth.
But mostly the germs that you're swallowing. It probably kills some of it, I'm sure, if you're drinking hard liquor straight, which I used to do all the time like a dumbass.
Shit, I love doing it, but I don't drink that much anyways, so I only ever drink to get drunk.
That's pretty much what people.
Which is like once a
I
month.
hate that feeling of being
I
drunk.
mean, like anybody that can just sit and drink one beer, I can't understand it. Every time I drink just one beer, I end up getting a headache or falling asleep.
Yeah, my thing is I like beer. It's the curse. I genuinely like the taste of beer. So
Yeah,
I can drink just one beer.
I was obsessed with that, and but nowadays with my bladder issues, I can't drink too much beer because I piss so much that it's just like, oh my god.
I hate getting drunk off beer. It's like it's difficult. I have to pee a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it. I'm like, just give me a few shots of whiskey, all right, and then we're good.
If I could walk properly and go to the bathroom, I'd be happy with beer. But the last beer I had was a 40 at Budweiser, and that just was a nightmare with my bladder and all that. I mean, I didn't even really get drunk off of it. I just had a nightmare of a bladder issue.
Yeah, no, I have a similar thing. I can't. If I drink too much beer, I just will be pissing all day.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much normal, but I think I might have a prostate issue too. I mean, God knows.
Well, are you in your 40s?
I'm 44. I've got MS. Already got a neurogenic bladder, which causes retention, and now I think that I have a prostate problem because I have to get up and pee a whole lot, which.
Yeah.
In order to pee, I have to sit on the toilet and then stand up, sit back down, stand up because I have to somehow get it to.
You need to talk to a doctor.
Dude, I've been to so many fucking doctors and urologists don't know how to fix the kind of shit I've got. But I can't even talk about that. It's just not even worth it. Just gonna deal until they put tubes in me. That's the next step. I'm pretty sure they're gonna fucking put tubes in me.
I hate catheters.
Well, dude, I can't even get catheter at all. Period. I can't even because I had catheter trauma in 2007, and ever since then, I've had a problem. It's called nocturnal priapism, and it's like when you go to sleep. I shouldn't tell the whole world about this, but yeah, it's a terrible, terrible issue, and it's never ending ever since the catheter trauma, and that doctor, that bastard, he finally lost his license to practice whatever after. Well, I didn't report my problem. Mine was a severe problem, and it's ongoing for life. But then I looked this guy's name up on Google, and he was sued for $1.5 million for giving a guy a flesh-eating bacteria in his dick with the same kind of cystoscope he stuck into me after the catheter to see how much water my bladder could hold. And he got sued for $1.5 million there, man. I didn't get a cut of anything for the kind of torment I've been living all my life since 2007. And then here's the kicker. I look at again years later. He's accused by 9 different women of unwarranted vaginal exams, unwarranted anal exams, feelings of breasts, and all kinds of stuff. So that's 9 women. And all he had was a lost practice. He should be in fucking behind bars, man.
Actually, seriously.
I used to.
Fuck, I'm on your side. That guy sounds like a piece of shit.
If I dox, I don't know if I should say his name, but it's.
Don't just in case, just to be safe.
Yeah, I don't want to say because of your sake, not because of his sake. But
at least not on this entertainment channel.
Exactly. I don't want to do it. I don't want to fuck with your channel. But so.
But that does sound like fucking insane. Oh my god.
He ruined my life, dude.
It's not. I don't actually. Weirdly enough, I don't not believe you because
you should believe me. That's my reality.
I've heard stories of people who've had similarly.
I have nocturnal priapism. A week after he gave me catheter trauma, I have nocturnal priapism from then on. And I'll tell you what nocturnal priapism is. Do you mind, Jeff, if I talk about it?
My goal is to keep my channel. So
well, it's medically related, but maybe not the most comfortably medically related.
I mean, I know what it is, so that's why I'm
so you've heard about this. Well, every second that I go to sleep, I get this unnatural thing going on, and then I wake up and I have to walk it off, get back in bed, and I got the prostate issue, which I'm pretty sure that I've got that because if I have to pee all the time I go to sleep, I don't know what else that could be. Yeah, man, I'm kind of a depressing guest. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh,
it's not.
That's okay. We have far worse. Believe me.
Yeah. Look, okay, Busker. All right. You may have said some mean things to me, but we can have a talk about beer. Oh yeah, no, he definitely has.
Oh. What did I say?
It was about like trans stuff or something.
No, I was just upset about the trans children, dude.
No, I'm aware. That's why I'm saying.
I didn't say anything towards you. I didn't even know you were trans until later on.
There were a few moments where you definitely did say some things directed at me. It's fine though. I didn't towards your transness. I never ever said any because
in fact I've heard Busker. If you have a relative that's trans or something.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I've heard him speak up on behalf of.
Yeah, and he's one of the old school, man. He's like in his 50s, and he got it done in Mexico, and he actually had it lopped off. And fucking when I was talking about how stupid Caitlyn Jenner is. I talked about that on Facebook, and I got all kinds of fucking bullshit from these left-wing tards. They're all like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is coming from you, Jim." Well, guess what, bitch? My cousin, and I fucking put tagged the name, and she didn't mind either. But because she's one of these old schoolers that doesn't like all this bullshit. Somebody with a dick is not a woman. Is not woman of the year. Till you get your dick cut off, maybe we'll call you woman of the year then. Sort of woman of the year. But I said, yeah, yeah, my cousin, he actually got the job done. And here's this like fool who's the uncle of a couple of sluts, rich sluts. The what are they? The what's their last name? The Jenners. The
Kardashians.
Kardashians.
You're
Yeah.
talking about the Kardashians.
Yeah. These little contention whores. It's just like, I don't give a fuck about them, and why should anybody call that person woman of the year when they still have their dick between their legs and they know for a fact that they still act like a man anyway. They can dress up like a woman. They don't really try to pull it off. At least Jenner, he didn't try to pull it off. He could have done a better job of that. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I'm not a big fan of Caitlyn Jenner, but
yeah, neither was my cousin. My cousin thought he was a scumbag, a poser, and he's one of the old schools, kind of like that one
I don't
person.
think Caitlyn Jenner is a poser. I think I disagree with her on a number of issues, and I think she's wrong, but I don't like.
Well, I'm saying just that not in my thoughts of being a poser. That's what she is. It, her, him, whatever. My cousin, I could tell that, like, from the old school, like, she's just like, fuck this. This is yeah. He's still got a wang, and they're calling her a woman of the year.
Is kind of an old school trans person. She was around.
Who was that that you had on, Jeff? That I thought was pretty freaking cool, man. I couldn't tell like
Buck Angel.
Yeah, Buck. He totally like, and he had the right ideas about a lot of stuff. Like, I was totally on par with him. Just like he was on the old school, just like my fucking cousin,
Yeah. That's what I keep saying. The generations have changed. This is a new generation.
They're totally different now, man.
Trans,
compared to what I'm not used to.
Totally differently about things.
I don't communicate that often. Just enough to communicate with my cousin, but I know he used to run around his campus naked and was taking tons and tons of ass. And I think he had a mental breakdown at one point and just decided, well, I gotta go down and get my dick cut off.
Well, that's not how people make those decisions today.
No, man, he went through a lot of weird shit. His father used to take him to nude beaches. I think he was probably felt up by my step uncle, who's dead now. And they didn't care much for him. You could tell by how they talked about him. They dragged their little kids off to some nude places, nude beaches. All right. Maybe I'm sounding a little too conservative, but come on, take your kids to nude beaches. Come on.
No,
I just want to try to keep it entertainment friendly.
Yeah, I mean, you are kind of sounding like the way conservatives used to talk about gay people, but that's.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the whole implying that kids are only turn gay when they get SA'd.
I'm not even going to go through on that train. I don't think kids should be anywhere near that at all. That's my opinion, and that's what I'm sticking to.
No, I'm aware, but the implication that of your story was that your cousin was only trans because they were SA'd.
No, that's not what I said. I said he was doing a lot of crazy shit, so I wasn't surprised that he went down to Mexico and got his dick lopped off, right? Sorry to put it that way, but that's pretty much what it is. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just telling you my observation of him. He was one of the original truthers. I didn't even know what a fucking truther was, and I was like, man, he's come up with all these crazy ideas about 9/11 back around 9/11. I'm just like, holy shit! It took me years to even think about that. And he was a truther before I knew of any others. And everybody thought he was drawing all these really crazy pieces of art of like 666 is money was his whole thing. 666 is money.
I'm sorry. I feel like
Hey, Cynthia.
I feel like I lost part of the thread. How did we
Yeah,
how did
I
we get
lost.
to this?
My cousin had some really a little more than eccentricities. They're beyond eccentricity.
Oh, your cousin was like a conspiracy theorist. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he
That's
also had this thing where he was all on acid all the time, and he thought 666 is money and all yada yada yada. I mean, okay, I can see where he was coming from with some of these things, but some of this shit was just off the wall.
um
So that
What's
was
up,
my
Cynthia?
opinion of him. He was a bit nutty. Nothing, no foul there.
but now your cousin chopped off their dick and is a
What
trans.
he went down to Mexico and got it done. He didn't do it himself.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Your
Okay.
cousin went down to Mexico, had a doctor remove their penis,
Right?
and is living as a woman here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get that straight in my head that we were talking
Yeah,
about
he didn't.
the
He
same
didn't.
cousin.
He definitely didn't stay down there. But like I don't know where he's living now, but he's well, for
I'm,
all intents and purposes, friends with me on Facebook, and that's about it. I mean, we
I'm
don't
sure
talk on the phone or anything.
I'm sure they're living their best life. My apologies, Jeff.
For what?
I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just asking Cynthia how she was doing and what's
Yeah,
up.
Cynthia, how's it going? I haven't said hi to you
Oh,
before.
you're on mute or something. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're on mute.
Sorry.
There you
How
are.
you
There you
guys doing?
How you doing?
Chilling. I just came up here. Y'all had some really heavy subject coming up. So I just thought I'll come up here, hang out, see if it changes a little bit. Because I saw Jeff
Yeah,
say
I'm talked out about all that stuff, man.
Okay.
nice.
Hopefully it will.
I did a live today, Jeff, on mastering your craft and what sacrifices one has to take in order to master their craft. So I was curious, what's everyone's craft on the panel? What would y'all consider y'all's craft? And what sacrifice did you have to take?
Craft. What's the sacrifice have to do with a craft?
Because you have to make these sacrifices if you really want to master your craft.
Oh
like-
yeah. Oh man, fucking! I work on Cajun accordions all the time, and I just go by people's word from Louisiana.
You work on what?
Cajun accordions, and I also play them. I know how to tune them also, which is one of the hardest jobs on earth.
How much would you how long would you practice your instruments?
Just whenever I'm high, I love to play music. So it's kind of like when I get high, I just pick up my accordions and sit right next to me on my bed and start playing. Or I get together with my nephew. Used to play with my dad. I have a whole playlist of me and my dad busking down in Fells Point. We had some good times, man.
Nice.
Yeah, if you look up Be More Busker and then look at the playlist of busking Fells Point. There's like 22 videos.
Did you make sacrifices like you were saying you were playing with your dad? Like were there times you chose to play with your dad instead of maybe hang out or something?
Oh man, I would not rather have done anything else, man. I had nothing else going on anyway. Everybody else was doing their own shit.
Mhm.
I was diagnosed with MS, but I could still walk around and look like I'm normal.
Mhm.
And then fucking I get to playing music with him down there, and I'm so sorry we don't have more than 22 videos. That's the only sad thing about it, because we had many times down there that were so cool, so awesome.
Nice.
But there were times we both get drunk. And there was one time he got drunk and like ended up like kind of passing out on the sidewalk. It's like, Dad, man, we're down here to play music.
Mm.
But as I'm telling this, I've got booze on my breath, so it's kind of hypocritical.
Jeff, what about you?
I was listening to some of these. Holy shit, dude, you are really good at the accordion. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, I've been from those videos. A lot of them were from 2008 to about 2018, and then all of a sudden, busking stopped for everybody in Fells Point.
Oh, because of COVID?
Yeah, well, it was that. Plus, there was some really bad springs and falls and with weather, so we didn't get down there much in the 2018. And then 2019 comes around. By the time the fall comes around, they're talking like about this new strain of coronavirus. When did it kick in that everybody was scared of? It was like what, March, that everybody was locked down, March of 2020, I think. And that it was not just that, it was the whole BLM thing. There was all kinds of like riots down there, just of people just getting angry about nothing, and then they fucking attack each other.
Do you still practice today? Like, do you still practice on a regular basis?
Yeah,
Or just
just sitting on my bed. I mean, I really don't do anything anymore. I don't leave my house. I don't, just fucking play music and sit on my bed, play a video game, get on a panel. That was part of my saving grace of cutting out the booze, was originally getting on panels in the summertime. It's like I didn't want to be drunk on these panels, and granted, yeah, there were times, but it was very seldom. And it would be an occasion that I was on a panel, because not because of the panel it was the occasion. The occasion came before the panel, and I was a bit drunk. And yeah, I've been drunk on these things, done some dumb shit, but
wow, great story. Thank you for sharing. That was good. I like it. I like the accordion. I do like that instrument. It's
yeah, the Cajun accordion is more of like, it's a really hardcore sounding instrument. It's not like these dinky I don't want to call it that. Every culture has their own accordion, but the Cajuns are in the Creole and Cajun, man. There's
Can you drop
nothing
his link, Jeff? Because Lib said he went and listened and it was good, so I would like to hear it.
Yeah, shit.
It's just Be More Busker, his name on
yeah,
on
look
YouTube.
up Be More Busker, and then go to playlists if you want. There's all kinds of shit on there, and
if you put it in the back, I'll drop it in the chat.
And from 2023 onward, I collaborated with this punk rocker from Quebec who found my videos, and just one day I looked at my messages.
So you've connected with other people from the internet just off of your music?
It just came out of nowhere. Wow. It was so fucking awesome. I also got this recording, and I gotta get that up on YouTube, of this beatboxer guy who was fucking excellent. And I was playing this Cajun song right behind him, making all these weird noises with his throat and his mouth and everything. It's like, ding, 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 ding. It was crazy stuff. I can't even imitate it.
Oh wow, this
Frank,
is.
are you jealous? Do you have something you want to come up here and promote? Come on.
Yeah, come on, Frank. You can promote something.
Well, I just asked a question, and Be More. That was wow.
No, this is a good chance to maybe try and bully Frank up here.
But that playlist is just a playlist. I have over.
That's really good. Do you always come over here? Because like, if I wanted to use some music, would you be upset?
Not at all, man.
Really?
Use it all you want. Please do.
Are you sure?
That's cultural appropriation.
Gosh. Thank you.
We're gonna need to talk reparations or some kind of. I want royalties for that.
I don't even get the fucking I have over 100 subscribers, and I tried to sign
You
up
have
for
over 100. You have over 1,000.
1,000. That's what I meant. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I tried to get.
How
the
did you get
accent.
your 1,000?
I had to
Music?
kind of like not beg, but I'm just like, come on,
Oh, yeah,
people. I'm up at 970 some. Please help me out. And finally, it went through. And getting on the panels helped because I got some subscribers to get up. And
Well, thank you. Thank you.
and I've taught my nephew since the COVID started how to play the Cajun accordion. Now he's like very adept at it. He's not an expert, but he's very adept.
Nice. I'm gonna calm down. I'm about to go to work, but I'm definitely still here in the conversation. Thank you, Jeff. I didn't mean to take over, but thank you.
No, I love.
Well, it's good to meet you, Cynthia.
Oh, I'm still gonna be up here. I'm just not gonna be on camera. I'm about to block it.
Cynthia is
We're
my
gonna lose
sister's
those
name
lights.
too.
Oh wow. Does she
Yeah.
go by Cindy? Is it Cynthia or Cindy?
I call her Sind for short.
Yeah, everybody does that to me as well.
Yeah, Sind.
What about you, Jeff or Lib? Do y'all have any? What are you master crafts at?
I guess it depends on what you consider a craft.
Anything can be a craft. Anything.
I don't do anything with my hands at all because
Okay.
dyspraxia. I have no coordination. Oh yes, I do owe Frank a Santa story.
Oh yes.
Like I'm good at this kind of stuff. I'm good at Zoom, stream, like mastering technology to bring people together
Orchestrating.
and do groups and stuff like that.
That's not. That's
But
definitely.
I learned it in my sleep. It's nothing I would say I mastered. I barely remember even picking it up. It just came so naturally.
Gotcha.
So
He's good at managing people.
Yeah, I try to hold a stream, and
he's a natural authoritarian.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man. You got it a hell of a lot better than I do. I don't know how to start these things and get people.
That is the craft, though, Jeff. That is
Absolutely.
the craft of being able to manage all different walks.
Exactly.
I do. Lib said that, but I don't know if I do. I got all these people mad at me.
That means you're doing it good.
If I'm so good at managing people, why am I having all this drama?
I think you're good at managing people. I
Welcome, Denizen.
Greetings.
Hello.
Do you have a craft that you're good at?
Yeah, good is kind of subjective, but I have a lot of hobbies.
Which one are you great at? What'd you say?
I don't think I'm really great at any of them.
No.
Same though.
Oh wow.
Like the best I think I'm at is like I paint, little figurines, plastic little models.
Like miniatures?
Yeah, miniatures.
Yeah, my little brother used to love to do that stuff.
Oh, I did too when I was little.
They're made of pewter, right?
Some of them are made of pewter. More commonly now, they're made out of different kinds of plastics, just because that's a lot cheaper, and you can get more details than you can on a lot of those pewter miniatures. Though I have a few pewter miniatures just because I've picked up old stuff. But it's mostly plastic, and I'm not actually that good of a painter. I feel very like zen. I like get focused, and just sit there and have some music going on in the background and just can sit there and paint for hours. But I'm not like fantastic at it or anything. I have a few models that I don't even want to paint. I want to pay someone else to paint because I'm scared that I'll fuck it up.
You ever try to take a puff of some really good sativa, not indica? That's kind of not really creative shit, but sativa's where it's at for creativity.
Oh, like in indica. For me, indica basically just works kind of like CBD. Like I don't get high really off of indica.
Makes you tired, kind of relaxed, and it's like couch locked.
I think that's
Well, Frank, come on up and change the topic.
yeah.
It's an open panel.
Look, Frank, I'm
Back
sorry.
to
but
booze
the
and
rest
drugs.
of us
Fritz the
regular
cat
people,
here.
regular people talk about drugs, but drugs are kind of a big human thing.
That's right. That's pretty much.
Besides, it's an election year. Everyone's gonna need their booze and drugs.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not just
Creativity
in your
and
head.
drugs.
I am completely different on one and the other.
Yeah.
Indica is like sleep, like couch lock,
Yep.
sleep.
Yep.
Indica is stone and sativa is high.
Yeah, that's right. And it's
I've never heard it explained that way. Yeah.
It's
I
more
like
for creativity.
Say it again, Jeff.
And sativa, I talk nonstop.
Yeah, that too.
My brain is going like 10 times faster than
Yeah.
normally does. I giggle at everything.
Yeah.
And it's like a cup of coffee. I have energy. And indica, I can barely get off the couch.
Yep.
Sativa is more energizing.
Absolutely. And
indica is more calming.
Definitely. As my MS gets worse, indicas become a detriment. And anything indica leaning, I just can't stand because then I can't walk anymore. Sativa, that's okay as long as I don't have too much of it.
Yeah.
It keeps me awake. And that's kind of cool.
And everybody's different. Some people are the opposite.
And
man, my body and my brain were a whole lot different like 5 years ago than they are now. So.
And see, my thing is, I'm a nicotine addict, so like I don't even use marijuana as my stimulant.
Yeah, I got the nicotine problem.
I mean, I think a lot of people, especially older people, are pretty addicted to nicotine, and it's even becoming more common among like my generation, like Gen Z. It's not
nicotine
good.
Is because the trend was going away for a while. Like they thought they were getting kids off the cigarettes.
Millennials,
Joe Camel
by
and all
large,
that, they axed him, said no more.
Millennials, by and large, don't use nicotine products, but Gen Z does a lot.
What do you think? What do you think is responsible for that?
Vapes, absolutely.
Yep. Vapes are definitely the end thing now. Like. But I hear it's safer than cigarettes. I think
it is. But like the problem is they became so widespread so quickly and so easily available for.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Why does one generation use vapes without nicotine though?
Yeah, that's
because vapes increase the popularity of smoking again, but not the increase in use of nicotine until recently.
Oh, I mean, I think it's because you have nicotine addictions going back up, among Gen Zers,
as they're discovering it through vaping.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
Like I try and tell people as much as I can, don't ever fucking touch this shit. It's if you can, don't touch it. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's an awful, awful habit. Trans issue resulting in alcoholism? What? I'm confused.
Everything you talk about turns to trans.
I mean, not everything.
Everything Busker talks about turns to alcoholism. And who's the other one that was in here the other day? Was it I-Fi? It was somebody else.
Well, everything for him goes back to trans communism.
So everyone has like their pet theme, and when they're in here, the panel turns to that theme or the conversation.
Mine's the government sucks.
Yeah, man, I'm on board with you.
That's
I'm not voting. I haven't voted since I was 21.
Well, no, you should vote. I would encourage you.
I don't. I'm hesitant to even start this conversation, but what do you want in place of the government you have now? Like, what government would make you happy that you feel like wouldn't suck?
I'm just gonna go with the flow and let it fall apart, because that's what's gonna happen, buddy.
I agree with him, but I think I could still answer your question, right? Like any of the things that the government claims it is, but isn't really. Like all of the talking points for government, if they actually adhere to any of those principles.
Because the government's not really telling me anything. I don't even interact with it.
The UN is behind all of this, man.
You didn't go to public school?
I wish the
you don't watch
power to be.
You don't watch the news.
All of it.
You don't engage on social media.
You think that's all the government?
Well, the government says
what,
it is.
What are the talking points? You said the government had these talking points they want you to know.
Of by and for the people, inalienable rights,
the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution,
innocence before. Yeah, just what you're taught in school that the government is and what the principles are.
Yeah, and Schoolhouse Rock. We learned a lot of it through that too, which is probably government.
Things have changed a
Yeah.
lot of ways, though.
Well, it's literally public.
As a kid, radicalized, propagandized.
Yeah, I think we all are. I think if you
Propaganda's
don't,
off the charts now.
if you don't,
I never got cured out of it though. Like,
if you're unaware that you're propagandized,
so
then you're probably really.
Oh, my Santa story. Oh, Frank Santa. It was 5th grade. We were doing the Christmas play, and the guy that was picked to play Santa didn't know what he was doing, and I don't even know how he got picked. And so we were all rehearsing, and he was trying to ho, like he couldn't even ho ho ho. And the teacher was trying to, like, no, say it real harshly, like ho ho ho. And I finally got frustrated, and I said, "Do you want me to show him how it's done?" And she's like, "Yeah, Jeff, show him." So I got up there and I'm like, "Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas, ho ho ho." And she's like, "Jeff, that was so good. You should be Santa." And I got excited. I'm like, because he was the star. He had like a big role. He was like one of the reasons people came to the play. And I got excited. I'm like, oh wow, I get to be Santa. And so I put my whole heart into this role. And I was about the size I am now in the 5th grade. I was over 6 feet tall.
Oh Jesus.
I was like 110 pounds, probably. I was a beanpole. And so we found the Santa suit for me. I was all excited the day of the play. And the teacher showed up and she had 2 like bed pillows that she tried to stuff in the Santa
like a panda, right? Yeah.
And it still hung off of me. It like hung off of me like skin.
Shit.
And finally the curtain opened up. I was all excited. And I went out on the stage thinking that I was Santa and I was ready to ho 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 and everything. And I got out there and the audience started laughing, like uproarious laughter. And I didn't understand why they were laughing. And I looked pathetic. That Santa suit was hanging off of me. The pillows were coming out of the stomach. I was this skinny, and the whole audience was laughing. And I got so frustrated I started crying and I ran off the stage.
Were you in elementary school or middle school?
And I didn't finish out my role as Santa.
What?
So there, Frank, I told you it was going to have a sad and tragic ending.
Jesus, that was. I'm going to go hang myself in the bathroom, everybody, and have a great night.
No, but Jeff, what grade were you in at the time?
It was 5th grade. I was like,
yes, you were elementary school.
Wait.
Yeah, man, that can be traumatizing.
So,
That's
did
brutal.
the play, was it just over? Did somebody else step up?
I don't even remember. I remember the teacher had to like follow me. I ran to the classroom, and this was at night, so the school was all locked up and everything. And I tried to run to our classroom, and she followed me out and like talked to me and calmed me down.
But you didn't get back on stage?
I don't remember going back on stage. I think I was done with the stage at that point. There was no
That
way.
ended your career right there, 5th grade. You never.
Well, I had lost the spelling bee, I think, earlier that year. No, that was after, because that was also 5th grade, but it was later in the year.
But you were in it, right?
Year, on the same stage, I lost the spelling bee, and I ran off the stage when that happened too. I was embarrassed.
But you were in the spelling bee. That was already.
Yeah, I thought I was doing well. I misspelled Columbus.
How many people were still left?
I don't remember. Because the prize was a Mickey Mouse watch, and I was so excited. I wanted the Mickey Mouse watch so bad. And I thought I had won it. And I was all excited after I spelled my word. I was like shaking my little head, all cocky. And they're like, that is incorrect. And my reality cracked. I'm like,
man,
how could it be incorrect? They're like, you're eliminated. And I'm like, no. That's
impossible.
I swear, there's no way that word is incorrect. I know how to spell that word, and they were like telling me to get off the stage and everything.
What was the word?
Huh?
What was the word?
Columbus.
Oh.
capital COL.
UMBUS.
Yeah, I got the O or the U mixed up, whatever it is. I still know.
Oh no!
But I wanted to, as a bonus, this is a childhood picture of Santa himself.
Oh no!
Nice.
No.
No,
Great.
Jeff.
And I've
Cool.
always wondered, looking
Oh,
at
okay.
this, what I did to Santa. Poor Santa.
That's not what I thought he was going to show.
Because I've seen that face, and like ever since then, my whole life, I've seen that face of other people. So,
Oh
Man,
man.
that Santa looked real.
he is real.
Yeah.
That's a human. It's a real human. I don't know what I did to him, but all right. So there you go. I hope I earn my likes.
Thank you for sharing your
Apparently
story.
earned likes until Monday.
Facts.
I'm catching up on comments. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, if you have any what are the stories today? The things you've mastered, like
Mastering your craft. What have you
craft?
sacrificed?
Or if you have a Santa story, we'll count that from the other day.
Mhm.
Especially if it's sad and tragic. Or we can go do a completely new topic.
Transcommunism. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. As long as it's related to trans communism.
Yeah, there you go.
Why do parents lie to their children about Santa Claus?
That was a big moment in childhood for me when I found out, because my world, that's another like shattering of the world. But once I processed it and understood it, I realized that they lied to me for good reasons, because it was to create the magic of childhood and keep it going. And I would not have wanted childhood without that.
Yeah.
So I ultimately was glad that they had lied to me, and I was on their side. And I would not have wished that they didn't lie to me.
Do you think most people prefer a comforting lie over the truth?
Yeah, that's my experience. They pretend like they want to know the truth, but A, they fight it very hard, and B, when they do finally process it, like receive it and process it, a lot of times they can't even handle it. So they start like rationalizing and deceiving themselves about it anyway, which tells me that you should have just left them in the initial lie.
Word. And why do you think humans are like that?
Because the way our brains work.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like none of us process, like none of us are like living actual reality. It's like a simulation of reality, and there's like a slight delay in it from like all the stuff that's coming out of our brain that it has to filter and put together and process and package and give to us. So every one of us is kind of like living in our own brain simulated version of reality anyway.
So do you think we weren't this bad before then? It's progressive?
Bad in what way?
Bad's not the right word. What's the word for not wanting to be alleviated of your illusions?
I think we were always like this. And even Plato plays on that in the Republic, where he talks about the noble lie and like people having a need to be fed this fiction so that they can all come together and function as a society, as long as they don't question it. And I think in today's society, because it's partly secular, it's been secularized, but outside of that, the dominant mythology behind it is still Christian, or some combination of Greco-Roman Christian.
So what do you think caused that? Do you think it's just random chance? It is what it is?
No, I think it's just cultural evolution. Like as different artists and writers and thinkers react to the world and express that, then other people react to that, and it like new ideas can create. We had the Enlightenment, the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, Romanticism after that. So all of these new ideas created new possibilities for how people see themselves, and I think we're still in that. There's not been much new in the world since then, really, and certainly I don't think since the 60s.
Right. Do you think there's a connection between like the cultural aspect of it and genetics, physical makeup of the brain? You mentioned writing. Do you think that there's a link between what you just described, which I would agree is happening, and a time in human development before there even was writing?
That I don't know. I'm not competent enough to make a judgment call there. I know that writing has existed in many different cultures, so it doesn't seem to be tied to one kind of genetic strain or anything. It
Do you
seems
think
like
we were
all
like this
humans,
when we were?
once writing was discovered or invented, all humans started to participate in that technology or that activity.
Right. Do you think we were like this prehistorically? That prehistoric man was like
Like,
in that.
well, we have cave paintings and stuff like that. So there's evidence that and I don't know if those were cave people, but there's evidence that we were innovative in our communication and our creative expression very early on.
And also
Not necessarily honest.
And
Not
also
necessarily what?
we can look at things like some of our sort of like, I guess, quote unquote cousin species that act very similarly to us, and sort of shine a light on kind of how what people call like the human condition seems to be just present with sapience. Like the more sapient creatures are, the more like this they are.
What would you say are some other primate examples of lying? Deliberately, almost knowingly and willfully lying.
Well, I don't think like we can definitively say that chimpanzees lie in the same way that humans lie, but
Porpoises are dolphin, or they kill for fun. They found them.
Yeah,
killing for pleasure. They call them the sociopaths of the animal kingdom.
Yeah, and chimpanzees will form these like social groups very similar to like human ones. Bonobo apes are also another, close human ancestor that exhibits a lot of human characteristics.
Would you say that the truth has an evolutionary benefit to it?
Not necessarily. In fact, in some cases, not at all.
So is maybe that what the cause is for? I mean, it just really was more expedient for us to lie to each other in order to survive.
Well, it's not about like.
I think lies are not going to help our mental evolution.
I mean, I think there can be definitely social utility to lying, but as to what like that social utility was to our far off in the past ancestors, I don't know. Apparently, in their social systems, just like ours, it was probably beneficial to lie to some extent, which is why human culture has kind of
always lied.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a pretty.
Can we change lying to deceiving? Like
yeah, I think
but animals can deceive each other too, though. Like,
yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, I think lying just has an intent sort of within it, and I think that
the
kind
intent
of
to deceive.
Yep.
The intent to deceive for malicious purposes.
Well, I don't know. You might have just went above my pay grade with the malicious part. Like, if you're going to start putting a moral connotation to it, I think that changes the conversation.
Lying and deceiving are in the same basket. Lying and deceiving. I mean, come on.
Is that what bothers you the most about people? Is that they lie to each other? Like knowing who to trust?
I don't know if I'm bothered by it at all. I just think that there's a good analogy between. I think you were right in your analysis, describing it as a simulation, but I don't think that it's necessarily healthy. And I think human beings are stuck in a feedback loop because, they did certain things to get through a time of scarcity that doesn't exist anymore. And we lie to ourselves more than we lie to anybody else. And I think that disconnect between reality does have a detrimental impact on all of our lives and our health, and that there would be a benefit to coming to terms with the world we actually live in instead of the bullshit we tell ourselves is real.
How do we know what that world is? Because that's what science is trying to figure out, and they still don't have the final answer.
I don't think we can know, but I think we could take right now we celebrate lying and we deliberately combat reality. We could stop doing that. And so that wouldn't make us perfect and all knowing, but it would definitely point some other things.
What if we do that for a reason? Like,
well, that's what I was
our
asking.
brains are do it to protect us so we can function.
That's what I was asking. Why do we do it?
To live in like full reality.
I think we could probably take a few steps closer to reality from where we are right now safely, without really having to worry about it too much.
Maybe. I don't know. I see people fight all the time.
You see people what?
Fight it all the time.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. They all do. And the vast majority of people do not want to believe the truth. I think you were 100% correct in everything that you said. I'm curious as to why that is, and I am stepping out on the ledge and saying I question the benefits of a society that's run that way. I have my questions. You know what I mean?
I think like as organisms, we achieve homeostasis, and then we don't want that disrupted. And so
yeah, definitely.
That's more important to us than the truth, is not having anything that confronts us with something that's going to disrupt our homeostasis. And if
I think
truth threatens to do that, we're going to fight that.
And I think that makes perfect sense if you think of like an endangered tribe of thousands in the middle of the desert, 280,000 years ago. And it explains who we are today. And if we can kind of just, stop bullshitting ourselves about what that means, we can make certain adjustments to that homeostasis without worrying about the whole civilization falling apart because we acknowledge to ourselves, simple truths.
Yeah, I don't worry about civilization falling apart. And I think what you described is done on an individual level. Like each one of us do. Lib's not even talking right now, Frank.
What is Frank saying?
Man. He's worried about...
It's just Frank.
He's worried about...
Hey, Frank's super cool.
It's the snake people, or yes, the Nagas.
So when does that have a collective effect then? Did you see it over time? ...
Of what? A collective effect of what?
Would you say then that we're becoming less deceitful as human beings? Would you say that?
No, probably like babies are deceitful. Toddlers are just like babies come out with those instincts, and as far as I know, and the little I've observed recently, toddlers still have all that. Like they're still capable of deception. So if your idea of the perfect world or the perfect human is humans that don't deceive, that I don't know.
No. I wouldn't use terms like perfect. I don't believe in such things. I just said we could stop lying a little bit and it wouldn't destroy society.
Well, then
it wouldn't be lying. The sky wouldn't start falling,
I don't lie personally. So just stop lying. It's as easy as that. If you don't want to lie, don't lie. But other people expect other people to lie. They're not going to live by that extreme.
So it's just stagnant to you then. Humans are just liars, and they're not more liars or less liars. So there isn't like an arc or a change there.
I think all humans are capable of lying, violence, aggression, everything, evil, whatever you want to call it. I don't think like there's some humans that are born exempt from that. So I do know when I'm dealing with humans that deception and lying is a possibility. I tend to go. I'm on the trusting side, so I tend to go in trusting until I have a reason not to, and I get like in trouble, like caught up all the time from that belief. But that's just how I'm wired. That's just my natural inclination, is not to be suspicious all the time.
What about
But
brutality?
I know that humans can be deceptive, but it doesn't. That's just how they. That's just because we are what we are. It's not like a big moral crisis to me that we're that way.
What about brutality?
We're brutal too. Animals are brutal.
Right. Would you say we're more or less brutal, or just
We
the
we
same?
have the capacity for brutality. Like
But is there more or
horrifying
less brutality in human
of
society
brutality.
over time, or about the same?
I don't know. I haven't looked at those measurements.
Well, when you look at history, like they were really like some cultures were so brutal, but they didn't have the same weapons we got. So like it's just kind of like they were in their own way, and also they weren't as nearly as. Although it seems like nowadays everybody wants to go to war, so who knows?
Some countries in the past are have been even less, I guess, brutal than their contemporaries. For instance, we talk a lot of shit about the Persian Empire, but as far as empires,
I don't hear anybody.
No. I mean, sorry, I have heard people talk shit because people like the Greeks. They like role playing as like the Greeks fighting against the Persian oppressors and stuff like that. But that's not. It's not entirely untrue, but it's not. It's very biased. The Persian Empire was weirdly egalitarian for being a empire in 400 BC. They weren't democratic like Athens, I suppose, which is a knock against them.
Were they all trans-communists?
They were indeed all trans-communists. No, the Persian Empire was basically like a bunch of like disparate kingdoms that all basically paid tithes to it. They did the empire building where it was like, okay, whatever, like your system of government still functions, but now you pay us.
Okay.
They kind of that instead of like the whole like burn down everyone's temples, kill all the men, enslave all the women, and kill all the cattle. We were like, yeah, we won. You pay us, and we'll protect you if someone fucks with you.
Do you think there's more or less of that kind of warfare that you just described?
Oh, significantly less. Significantly less. Even like today, with all the conflicts going on around the world, there is still less death and destruction than at most points in human history.
Yeah, so if I look at history, I see that arc clearly. And that's coming from someone who is very skeptical, and I question the sources of information that I have. And so at the same time, I'm open to being shown how that's just bullshit and how it's more brutal now than it's ever been. But I see less brutality.
I mean, there's potential. There is the potential for significantly more brutality because we have fucking nukes.
Oh yeah,
we have 2,000-pound bombs and stuff. But
and civilization is a thin veneer for sure.
Yes.
But that's
yes.
But my point is that we don't do things that we do when we're toddlers because we socialize human beings based upon a set of values.
Yeah, I think
we still teach children that it's good to lie.
I think that
really young children.
No one taught me it was good to lie.
No,
that's not what you said 40 minutes ago.
Now I have adults that try to convince me that there's an art to telling little white lies to spare people's feelings.
You told me that your parents wanted you to believe in the magical nature of childhood.
They lie. They didn't say, "Hey, by the way, this is."
Well,
we'll pick this up and pass it on.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
I guess we will.
I think it's less indoctrinating to tell children to believe in Santa Claus and then tell them later on that it's not real if they don't figure it out themselves. That's kind of a little white lie. It's a little fun, and I gotta say I liked Christmas.
Yeah,
but, as a kid, and the whole Santa Claus and all that shit, and the Easter Bunny, and this and that. But I was a child, so. Yeah.
It's good to lie then, right?
Well, it's not good. It just is as it is. I mean, that's the way society.
You just liked it.
lore and fables and holidays.
Hang on.
You liked it, you preferred it.
Did I just
It
get
had
accused
benefit.
by someone in the chat of being
Yeah,
an Iranian agent?
But the Christians
so
don't
honored.
like it.
I can't believe it.
If I could go back in time, and I wouldn't want them to lie to me again. I wouldn't want them to do it again. Take care, Cynthia. Good seeing you. Glad that they
Remember
lied.
what we said about when you
I'm
tell
glad
people
that
the
they
truth
tried.
too, right?
Huh?
What you said earlier about when you try to tell people
Worried
the
that
truth.
because people created the Santa Claus mythology for their kids.
They
as a child,
attack
they're
you.
teaching their
They get
kids to
defensive.
lie, that
They
we
fight
lie
it.
as a society because of that.
They become abusive often too. It's just,
But I don't
you
think
know.
it's because of Santa, like the Santa story.
No. I just think, like you said, human beings have a propensity to prefer a comfortable lie over an uncomfortable truth,
Yes.
and they justify lies because it makes them feel good. And we're taught that by our own parents and by almost every
I
level of
think just
society that we.
innately, I don't even know if someone has to teach that. I think just innately we do that, even if no one teaches it to us. We
I
figure
think
out
that is
most
man.
most
That is great.
people, but not all people. Some
What do
people
you?
are different.
Look at the past 4 years. Everybody's acting like a bunch of toddlers. Look at that, you know.
Yeah,
And just as we see that arc with brutality, I think we also see the arc with people's discomfort with dishonesty. You know, there's that same kind of arc. I don't think we've made as much progress toward truth, you know, for lack of a better term, as we have towards, you know, ending brutality and suffering. That's not to say that there isn't a crap ton of brutality and suffering in the world. Just in comparison, I'd say we've made a lot more advancement. But it kind of seems like maybe we might be entering another part of social evolution where lying to ourselves becomes a focus and a contention point for how we're going to move into the next phase of our existence in an efficient way.
There's no
Or
entering.
maybe it's social engineering.
There's no entering. We're in that sort of like phase. That is how people rationalize the brutality and suffering around the world today.
Wait,
that just has been since the 90s.
Tell me again.
What does that mean?
That like
he's right.
We're living in the time that what happens? People rationalize. I don't have to. The suffering exists whether I rationalize.
I just don't know if it's always been that way. See, because I wasn't there. But I'm here for this, so I know he's right about that because I'm in it right now.
It seems like it's like this is the improved version of the suffering. Like we're not doing that bad of a job compared to how we used to be as humans.
Well, I mean, yes. However, for what it's worth, we're talking about like we were like at the bottom, and now we're slightly above the bottom. Like
when I look at Bronze Age barbarism and today, there's not even a contest to me at how far
you wouldn't admit to that like 15 minutes ago, though. You said you didn't know. That's how much you wanted to hold on to the Santa fantasy too. You lied to yourself in real time.
Also, I'm not convinced.
Wait, I want to find out what this fool is talking about. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's just the question. The same exact question. I asked you that same exact question. You said you couldn't tell whether or not there was a curve in our brutality, whether or not anything's gotten any better. He asked you in a different context the same question, though, and you answered it entirely differently.
I don't remember the first question about a curve in brutality.
I understand that.
So I don't
I don't know where he's going. I was just
remember it.
I was just making mention that of how we rationalize, I guess.
I don't think our human nature has changed much at all from the jungle.
But we've gotten less brutal.
Well, but we've become more civilized and less brutal, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And less deceptive as far as what we're craving.
The forms in which we express it have improved.
Yeah.
Have become more sophisticated.
Yeah. This is not to say that we've like changed our lizard brain impulse to break shit. We've just established motivation. I mean, yeah, kind of. But we've established motivations to not break shit. I mean, as much as people might hate the globalism or whatever, global trade has objectively led to more peace and conflict resolution in the world than basically anything
global
else.
trade is perfect, but globalism is not.
No, I don't think global trade is perfect either. There's also problems with it.
It's more perfect than the fucking shit they're trying to push now, man. Globalism.
Why can't we find incentives to not lie?
Well, that's more of a
philosophical. I have plenty of incentives to not lie.
Yeah,
every day.
Politicians.
Yeah, so we should probably teach and encourage children with those ways of thinking. I think it will happen.
Most people I know do. Most people,
and I don't think society will fall apart either. If kids don't have to believe in Santa Claus, you don't lie to your kids about where the gifts come from. I don't think that's going to ruin society.
This kind of,
or like with some of the crazy shit, some of the people in the chat saying like. Means you're a pervert and you molest children if you don't think that you should tell them about Santa Claus.
This kind of reminds me of like some of the new atheists who would like screech about how like some overly stupid mega pastor means like that like civilization is in decline because we have these kinds of people around. No, these kinds of people have just kind of always been around. Lying is like a very human issue, and we don't like teach kids to lie. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but
we knew how to lie way before the adults didn't have to teach it to us.
There's a culture of lying in human society, and Santa is a great example of it. Well, I get that, like, after the fact, you say it doesn't teach children to lie. It just teaches them that lying is acceptable. The people that you trust the most, who are in your family, who are responsible for taking care of you, will lie to you. It gives you a good feeling. Children knowing the truth. There's literally people who tell you that knowing the truth is harmful to a child. That argument's been made since I brought it up.
Get in on this. What is your thought?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, it's a tricky question. Well, if we don't have to take an absolute yes or no, let's look at what the process of lying about Santa Claus does to a kid. Could it have negative benefit or like negative effects on the kid? Absolutely, but it's also their first foray into critical thinking. They'll go back and they'll look at all the signs and like, oh my God, I missed all of those signs, right? So a lot of these things I don't really necessarily believe are inherently good or bad. I would prefer not to lie. I would prefer not to lie to my children. I would prefer not to lie to the people around me, because what does that do? It takes away any semblance of what the religious would call free agency. And to some degree, we do have free agency, but I think it's fucked up to justify lying to your child just because of tradition. I think that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, like their first foray into critical thinking, as you put it, could just be an honest one, where they learn to trust their parents even more and trust their society even more, because the society and institutions are all based on honesty.
Well, let me challenge you on that. Sure. Will people lie to them in the future?
Yes.
If the answer, so if the answer to that is yes, then I would argue that it's best to learn how to spot lies from your parents under a controlled environment and help them learn how to cope with it when it does happen, rather than try to protect them from an inevitable outcome. Would you say that would be a fair assessment? Not a holistic assessment, but a fair assessment.
I think I'm inarticulate, so you have to bear with me. But I think, like, if I were to describe what you're saying, it's okay to trick your children, right? If you're right there at the moment that they realize they've been deceived, and it's a wink between both the parent and the child, sure. But I don't think that trying to protect children from the reality around them and deliberately giving them false beliefs and things that aren't real for a majority of their childhood, right? So long that I don't think that a lesson is immediately learned. You start telling children when they're very little that Santa is real, and you don't tell them he's not until they start questioning it on their own.
Sure. But it's also an opportunity for children to see accountability in adults. So the first time they say, Santa Claus isn't real, and they say, then you lied to me, they say yes. So yeah, I'm not convinced that
is that accountability.
It is accountability. It's a foray into accountability.
I don't see how just admitting that you did something wrong is accountability.
Well, it's part of accountability.
You're framing
Right. It's still a good thing. I lied to you for your own good. I did it because I love you. As a matter of fact, if I were some weird person who had like a bad childhood and wanted to hurt children, that would be the type of parent that doesn't let their kid believe in Santa Claus.
Well, you sound like you had not a great childhood. Did you have some effects from being taught, like,
what makes you say
told
that?
about Santa, like lied to about Santa?
No.
Dude,
well, let me ask you this, so I can get a bearing on what you're trying to, where you're coming from, so that I'm not like straw manning you. What I'm hearing you say is that it's almost never a good thing to lie to people. Would that be a fair assessment?
There's way too much absolutism all through there.
Well, that's why I said almost always.
No, I wouldn't even go that far. I mean, I could think about it for a while and tell you if I agree with that statement. If you're going somewhere with that,
let me see if I can recontextualize that. Is it better to tell the truth more often than tell lies? For the benefit of the greater society.
In this society, no. Do I see reasons why creating another society based on more honesty could be more beneficial? Yes.
Can you possibly describe to me a moment where you think that, or where you would believe that lying would be beneficial?
Personally or socially?
Whatever. Answer as you would yourself. I'm not holding thumb screws to you, man. I'm just simply asking more questions that I'm making.
No, I don't feel interrogated.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Personally, sure. I mean, I could probably give you 12. Do you need a specific example, or
just give me one or two, or whatever. So I'm just trying to understand.
I go through a red light, and I stop at the next stop sign. Cop pulls me over, comes to the window and asks me, "Do you know why I stopped you?"
Okay.
It's definitely in my best interest. I don't answer questions. But it's definitely in my best interest not to tell the truth in that scenario. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so so I don't want to twist your words. I'm just trying to understand. Can you give me another example? Because I could twist that example and be like, okay, so it's okay to lie for personal benefit. I don't think that's what you're arguing, so I'm not going to make that argument.
I mean, I wouldn't use the word okay. I'm not trying to attach any morality to it.
Well, inherently, isn't telling the truth or lying a moral decision?
It can be. I wasn't even trying to make that argument, though. Okay, just from specifically utilitarian point of view, it could be more beneficial to society to not be so dishonest with each other.
Right. I get that. Can you give me another example, just so that I can
of it working good for me if I lie?
Well, no. Just in general, what do you think would be a good well, what do you think would be an opportunity to lie that would be beneficial? And that last one was to yourself. So let's say to greater society. Is there a reason why we would want to lie for the greater benefit?
I think there's lots of reasons why you would want to lie, but I'm not sure that I'm convinced about the long-term benefits of doing so. I'm not a fatalist, but the chickens come home to roost either way, right? So either head on or around the corner.
So I'm fairly confident that our government hides shit from us every day. I think you'd probably agree with that. And I'm fairly confident that some of those lies, if they were revealed, would cause mass hysteria and possibly even violence. So I think in some places it's acceptable to lie when it's in benefit of the greater good. And I think sometimes it's okay to lie when it's for your own personal benefit, especially, you know, when you're facing a police officer and a crooked judicial system. Absolutely. I think you could definitely argue that. My counter to that would be, if you lie to a police officer, it's possible that you can be found out and then tried for, you know, obstructing justice and perjury and whatever. So there's a line there. And then for the government example, I think the government doesn't give the people enough credit, and it could possibly lead to the absolute wholesale distrust of the government, which we should already have. But
you don't trust government either?
Absolutely not. It could lead to a catastrophic failure of the system that we all
more or less works. It does what I needed to.
To the extent to which I would agree with that, though, I would think it would be heavily reliant upon the fact that the government lies so much. So that hysteria would be the disconnect between a childish, petulant, ignorant, moronic voting base, which
That's
you know they are.
Terms.
I know Jeff, well, he'd argue 2.5 hours with me, but I can already tell from listening to you that you know I'm right. Some of the people are in this chat trying to justify lying about Santa Claus because of it. And maybe if there wasn't such a dichotomy between the people at the top of the pyramid and the people who are supposedly running things, then that you wouldn't have to worry about such a dramatic overreaction. And that's not to say that I disagree with you. We'll always find the extreme. But I didn't look for an extreme. I used the context of just lying to your kids about Santa Claus to say that there's just maybe a couple of things about how government works that they should stop lying about. So maybe not necessarily whether or not aliens exist, but how about just how they calculate unemployment, for example, which is a complete and total utter lie.
What are they lying about? That's easy to bust somebody on.
Well, I mean, you don't know you're being lied to if you're being lied to very well.
Also, like, there's some things like the way they calculate unemployment that have less to do with, like, I guess, like, explicitly lying, and more has to do with the kinds of narratives that the people in power have about the world. Like, I don't think the people who are, like, calculating the unemployment are like, tee hee hee, let us go, you know, subvert the will of the people today by lying to them. And presenting these false unemployment numbers. No, they have a worldview, and that influences how they look at things like unemployment, and it produces what it produces. Now, if they had a different perspective, that might change, but, you know.
I agree with you. I just, so long as at this point, you're at least starting to admit that the guy way at the top is T-He. Right, so your average bureaucrat isn't, but let's not, you know.
Oh yeah, no.
That kind of gaslighting is exactly the type of thing I'm talking about. We could just stop doing that to each other, and that'd be a step in the right direction.
I can agree that. I think the problem more has to do with, like, the people who wield the decision-making power, and less so the bureaucrats. Not that I don't think we should hold bureaucrats to account when they fuck up, but I mean, like, I think we oftentimes put more emphasis on bureaucrats bad, when in reality it's more like the people who are telling the bureaucrats, you know, what to do in their jobs. Maybe that
milk and energy shouldn't be included in inflation.
Let me ask this, because this is kind of where I'm coming from. I think that, you know, from what I'm gathering from you and a little bit of my own opinion here, sometimes it's okay to lie. Sometimes it's not okay to lie. But there's a greater, broader spectrum here that we're kind of missing, which is, how do we recover from that? How do we deal with that? And how do we, you know, create a more just society based on those beliefs? And so my argument is that you could tell your children about, you know, you could tell them to believe in Santa Claus, because you might have the perception that the world is a very cruel place, and it will continue to be a cruel place long after they turn 18. The majority of their time is going to be spent in a really shitty environment. Why not hold on to the magic for just a little bit longer? Yeah. Right. But what I'm hearing from Denizen really is that there's, you know, and rightfully so, we should be paying attention to the deleterious effects of what lying has on the people around us. And I think that's a perfectly acceptable position to hold.
Well, it didn't have any
effects, really important. What you're calling magic is ignorance. That's the other part. Like,
Well,
they,
no, it's
this, you're not taking away a child's ability to have a childhood and to have magical, wonderful experiences, to experience hope and joy and love and gratitude and the willingness to be charitable. You're not taking any of those things away by telling them the truth about Santa
No, but you're
Claus.
taking
That's-
away Santa Claus, the
I don't-
Easter Bunny, the
I don't
Tooth Fairy, and all the other
I don't
fun
think
stuff.
these- I don't think
yeah,
these-
you don't need any of that stuff to have
The
any of the
whole
things I just said out loud with my mouth hole. You can have all of that
They
magical,
don't- they
great
don't
stuff
do it for your
without the
kids,
lies.
but don't- Like other people can do it for their kids if they want.
Yeah,
Well, how would you go about
Obviously,
doing
people
that,
can
though?
do whatever they want with their kids. That wasn't even my point.
Well, how would you go about creating those things with children?
Don't you think those things exist in abundance in
No,
this world? It's a
it's-
beautiful
it's-
world.
It's not what I'm thinking. It's what I'm asking you. Because I'm
Well,
trying to
just
again.
be
I'm trying to
The
understand
world. The world has plenty of
I'm sure
opportunity
that
for
you
all
know.
of those things without Santa Claus. All of them.
Okay, but that would that not be from the perception of someone who is older, who is more mature, who's not a child anymore, right? There's
No,
a certain
I don't
amount
think
of
so.
childhood magic that comes with believing in things.
You can believe
and
in
magic
things
is
that
just-
are. You can believe in
is
things
just
that are
really
aligned
magic.
with reality. You don't have to believe in things that aren't real.
Fortunately, yeah, but what about like children's stories and fairy tales and all that? But fortunately, you don't get to determine that. Parents do.
Who said I
Yeah, but
wanted
he's
to
bringing
determine
up
it?
a point. He's just bringing up a point. I understand his point. What I'm trying to
I don't
figure out.
understand the point of worrying how somebody else raises their kid.
Well, I have to
Well,
live
because
with
we
all
all
those
live in a
kids.
society.
They
Yeah,
vote.
I know, but if
Yeah,
people have
they
the
pick
right,
my reality. There's way more of them than there are of me too.
if everyone has the right to raise their children however they want within the parameters set by society, then why is that something to worry about?
I
we
don't-
want
I-
that in a society. So if we have it, why complain about it?
Well, I mean,
I don't
at
worry
point are
too
you not
much.
a member of society that gets to dictate those
That
things.
was
I
not
mean,
the
we're all a
impression
part
I
of
had.
it. I mean, if you took this out to the absurd, you could make an argument saying, okay, well, if my life depended on a child believing in a falsity versus the truth, and if the child chose the falsity, I die, I would want that child to believe in the truth.
Yeah.
Right now, that's an extreme example. But if you slowly zoom in a little bit more and you start to focus on the intentions and what I would consider impact over intent, you would pretty quickly come to the perspective that yeah, it's probably better that we tell our children the truth and we don't fake them out with these absurd realities like this man can fly around the globe in one night. I mean, there's nothing in reality that holds us and ties us to that.
What it
I
is,
had
it's
the
not
live
a
version
child's
of
first
childhood
foray into
and-
critical thinking. It's a child's first foray into brainwashing,
Children don't care about
propaganda.
that.
Well, okay,
Yes, I mean,
propaganda. I guess I won't take issue with the phrasing of propaganda. I will take an issue with the phrase of brainwashing, though. How is Santa Claus brainwashing? Can you? Because like,
Is anything about Santa real?
yes,
doesn't
there
mean
are
brainwashing.
absolutely there are
Cultures
absolutely-
tell fictional stories
So-
all the
So
time.
so tell yes, but if you know, then the story has value. If you're aware of the parable, if you're being told that it's real, that's deception and it's not beneficial.
But I don't care because it had a positive impact. Having come out
Which
of the
was?
childhood, I came out of the childhood with the live version of it, and I would not want to deprive a child of that. I think it was a valuable thing.
That sounds like a you thing, though. I don't see any evidence of a beneficial
Yeah,
impact.
I don't care if it's a me thing. I don't care if I'm the only person in the whole United States that thinks this. I'm not. That doesn't change what I said about it and my feelings about it.
No, of course not.
I think it's a good thing to like weave enchantment for children to have that kind of childhood while they can. Especially because the queer theorists have an agenda as well to
based.
What is enchantment?
that magic, childhood magic of like
What's
creating
magic?
a world, a make believe world that they can live in and exercise their imaginations and
A belief in
Even
good.
tells
Yes, you can
reflection.
do all those things without being lied to about Santa.
That's fine to do that with
Sure.
your kids.
Yeah.
But I liked the way my parents did
I'm
it
not
with
telling you what to do with your kids, Jeff. This isn't a personal thing. I'm
Well, it
talking
sounds like
philosophically.
maybe I'm misinterpreting, but it
I
sure
guess you and a lot of other people are taking it personally because you either were lied to by your parents about Santa Claus,
sound like
and you say it has no detrimental
sound like you're
impact on you,
moralizing.
even though you sound like you're really angry about it, and that you're going to do it to your kids. I don't know if you have kids, but it sounds like you really want to lie to them about Santa
No, but I
Claus, and
have
you're
nieces
mad at
and
me because I
nephews,
suggested
and
it might
that's
not be a
what
good
enjoy
thing.
it as well, and it was nice to see them go through that.
Yeah, I have a brother who's much younger than me. He's 14 now, and I got to see him go through believing in Santa Claus into not believing in Santa Claus, and honestly, the transition was kind of meh. Like it was straight up like a
Mine
thing
was
that he came to the realization. Like,
on his own.
yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, so this is it's a story that we tell, kind of like the Easter," because he already also we never like he never believed in like the Easter Bunny or anything. That was kind of a not since he was
Like
like
growing up, you never believed in Easter Bunny?
I mean, I didn't,
Oh.
Yeah, see,
But
some people
did
aren't
you have
stupid enough to
Santa?
believe all the fairy tales,
but
which is an entirely different
I did
context.
believe in Santa, yes.
You did have Santa. Okay.
Yes. And in my like child brain, I thought it was like logical and reasonable to
It was.
believe in
They
Santa.
even tracked him on the radio. It made
Yeah, I
total
know,
sense.
right?
It doesn't
Like,
make sense at all if you think about it for more than
Live
40
on the
seconds.
radio.
well, yeah,
Here's
obviously.
the
Santa
fun
could.
part.
The logistics are
Denizen,
impossible if you just walk down the street in your neighborhood.
Here's the fun
yes,
part
that's-
about the myth of Santa Claus, though. It primes children to leave religion.
kind
That
of, yeah.
ooh,
It did do that.
ooh,
Because that's one of the things that made it easier to.
wow!
If you're a Christian,
The
you don't want
evolutionary
your child to
benefit
leave
of
your
Santa
faith.
Claus.
It was like
Crazy.
Santa and then Easter
Don't let
Bunny.
your
Nice
By
one.
the time it got the next
Nice.
one in line was God.
That was nice.
Does prime him pretty well. Oh damn, that's a good one. All right,
All right, I'm convinced.
Steve.
I'm now pro Santa.
Steve, I think the
there we
New
have
Idiots need to hire you on as their media coordinator or something. That's better PR than I've seen from those guys in a long time.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I do have to wrap up early today. I have a meeting in a few minutes. So is there anything that any last words that each one of you want to leave us with? Steve?
Nah, man, I just came on to fucking shoot the shit.
Okay. Well, we always enjoy that.
We do.
Glad you did. Denizen, any last words?
The United States is not a nation of laws. Nobody has any rights. And the media does not love you and is lying to you.
Okay. I never thought the media loved me ever. So
Well, that wasn't a personal
Thank
message
you
to you,
for that.
Jeff, but I'm glad to hear that.
okay. Lib.
Well, so we've got the guy here to shoot the shit. We've got our political anarchist. So I guess today I'm the trans communist. So trans communist.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Darn you, Denizen. I wanted to be the one to hate the government today.
Well, I didn't realize Steve was as distrustful as he is of it.
He's described himself
massively.
as libertarian-esque before. So yeah.
Yeah, I know, but he just seems so
Or he's described his views as
level-headed,
libertarian.
and I assume a wisdom in him that
See how you correlate that, though?
I think there is probably a pretty decent amount of wisdom correlated with anarchist philosophers. Sometimes
wisdom and level-headedness will make you distrust the government.
Well, libertarianism
It makes me
is
trust
really close to anarchy.
I
really
think
is.
you might be experiencing something besides level-headedness and wisdom.
well,
though.
I have no reason not to try. Like I can tell when something's working and not working, and so when it's not working, I know how to address it. But for the most
Fascism
part,
works.
it's more or less working, so I have no reason.
No,
to
it
not
doesn't.
trust it.
Sure, it's working right now.
Well, it's working for my purposes. I'm able to do all the stuff I've always been able to do.
I would not
But I
describe
count
the
on it
current
for.
American government as fascist.
Believe me, y'all will know because I will be on here like all day long, hollering and screaming about it's not working.
How is
and
it
why
not?
It's not working, and every little detail of it. So y'all will know
When he
when I
says
have
it's working,
dissatisfaction with the government.
it means he's fine. He doesn't have any issues with
Right.
what they're currently doing. Which
And-
yeah, that's
And all of the things that could be better that he's never even bothered to contemplate or fathom are not a problem. You know.
Yeah, I love where things are. I've watched a lot of
You're-
progress in my lifetime.
You
Even
make an
being
excellent
able
citizen.
to do
He literally
this, like,
has, yeah.
just talk to random people around the world through video is amazing to me.
You can actually get married now.
Through the video, yeah, we have our own. What do you call it? Minister, officiant,
Officiants, I think is what they're called. Now they're just government officiants.
to marry you, marry your pets, marry you and your pets.
Pope John Paul II communism would only work if the church was incorporated into the system.
Welcome,
Don't get
Chuck.
married, kids.
You're just in time to give us a few last words.
Oh, am
What's
I?
going on with you?
Not much. Not much. Just contemplating life and death is all.
Are you coming up with anything?
No. I'm at a complete loss.
Okay. Well, do let us know.
Same here.
But anyways, I'll head off. This has been a wonderful time talking with y'all. Y'all have a good evening and be well.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Same
we'll be here
See ya.
tomorrow.
Well,
And
sorry to come
for
up at
those
the
of you who
tail
watch
end.
Peace out,
Survivor,
I'll
guys.
catch you all later.
take care, Chuck. Good to see you. And for those who watch Survivor, we'll be watching the new episode tonight at 10 o'clock Central in the Discord. And we'll probably watch a season before that just for fun, like we've been doing. And other than that, we will be back tomorrow. Take care. Cheers.